Hey, this is James Kottak of the Scorpions, Kingdom Come, etc., etc., and you're listening to Talking Metal.
Hey, it's Mark Strigl. Welcome to another edition of Talking Metal. Before we get into the episode, I want to remind you to support Talking Metal by using our Amazon links. They are on talkingmetal.com. Just go to the site and then link through to Amazon. Do all your shopping as you normally would, and we get a kickback on that. It helps support what we do. You can also leave us a PayPal donation. My PayPal is my email. It's striglmark@gmail. And one of the best ways you can support us is by going to our Patreon account, the Patreon account. Yeah, check it out. You can donate $1 a month, $3 a month. You can choose what you want to donate. Some people are donating not 600. I wish they were $6.66. Others are doing $10 a month. And we don't have a lot of people on the Patreon account yet because we've just kind of started promoting it. But I think it's a great way. I see that it's working for other shows like Rock and Roll Geek Show and Decibel Geek, and Star Wars Rebel Force Radio has a lot of success with it. I'd love for it to take off here on Talking Metal. So please, again, consider using our Patreon account to support what we do. And as our co-host on this episode and guest interviewer, Emily Strigl. Emily, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. You're back with a guest that you interviewed not too long ago. And I'm back with a guest that I interviewed not too long ago, about 2 years ago. But yours was even more recent, probably within the last 6 months. Yeah. So tell us who's on today's show.
Wendy Dio.
Yes.
And really, I really like her a lot. And you'll hear in the interview that I'm hopefully going to have the opportunity to maybe help out with some events they're doing on the East Coast next year, potentially. We'll see.
Yeah, definitely keep us posted on that. We'd love to get involved, have Talking Metal involved with anything Wendy Dio is planning for East Coast style fundraiser for the Cancer Foundation that she works with, which I'm sure we're going to hear all about in this interview. Also, I want to mention we have the great drummer, James Kottak, ex-Scorpions, ex-Kingdom Come. He is on today's show. So without further ado, let's get right into the Wendy Dio interview that Emily conducted just recently. And then we'll come back and we'll check out a brand new interview with James Kottak, one of his first since he has left the Scorpions almost 2 years ago at this point. So stay tuned for that. Here's Wendy Dio and Emily Strigl with a Talking Metal exclusive.
Hello?
Hi, Wendy?
Yes, hello.
Hi, this is Emily Strigl from Talking Metal. How are you?
I'm good, and thank you for taking the interview.
Absolutely. It's so good to hear your voice again and to have you back on Talking Metal. Last time we spoke...
Perfect.
Yeah, last time we spoke was in the spring, and you were getting ready for the 3rd annual Ride For Ronnie to raise funds for the Ronnie James Dio Stand Up and Shout Cancer Fund. I want to know, how did it go?
It went fantastically. It was really great. We were scared to death because it was supposed to rain that day, but luckily it held off until Lynch Mob, which was the last band and the last song that the rain came down. So it was a great day, and we had a lot of fun, and we raised about just under $50,000, I think.
That's amazing. That's great.
Yeah, and we presented $25,000 check to Dr. Wong at UCLA, who is doing cancer research with a saliva test, which hopefully will be available in 2019.
Yeah, we talked about that. That's some amazing advancements in cancer screening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we'll be giving him another $25,000 at the bowling event, too.
Yes, and that's what I want to talk to you about. So you're getting ready for your kind of fall fundraiser, which is the 3rd annual Bowl for Ronnie event. Tell me all about it.
Oh, it's going to be lots and lots of fun. We're going to have we've got a lot of stars involved. Eddie Trunk, of course, is always there for us, and he will be heading up his celebrity team, which I think so far has Doug Aldridge and Tom Morello and John Five and a surprise guest. And we're actually auctioning a ticket for the person to be on the celebrity bowling team.
Oh, that's amazing. So how do people find out about that?
That goes up, I think, on the 25th or 26th. I think that goes up for auction.
For auction, where can people find out how to make a bid on that?
They can go to diocancerfund.org, and they should be onto the events page, and they should see the auction there.
Great, that's exciting. So Tom Morello.
Yeah, very exciting, very exciting. Steven Adler from Guns N' Roses will be there. I have a whole list of guests, and it coming every day. There's more and more celebrities taking part, and it's great. It's a fun, great evening, which brings us to awareness of cancer and to get checked early, and also to raise money for the funds, of course, but have a fun time while they're doing it. And they get awards for awards for the first, second, and third teams, and also for an overall score of everyone, and also the horses asked for the last winner.
That's amazing. So all the different teams, they're all celebrity teams, and like you said, you'll have one person who will be. No,
we have celebrity teams, and then we also have corporate teams.
Oh, okay.
And then we have for the overall bowler. So anyone who gets the highest score will get an award.
Well, that sounds like a blast. And so Tom Morello, he's been busy recently with Prophets of Rage, and he'll be part of the event. And he's one of those people who seems to be good at everything. But I wonder.
Oh, he brings his own bowling ball.
Is he?
He's very, very good.
That was my question. Is he a good bowler? But I guess he.
Yeah, he's a very good bowler. Oh, we also have for raffle we have this wonderful customized bowling ball and bowling pin.
Oh, that's amazing.
It's got all customized with the artwork of the album and that. And we'll have plenty of tribute records to be given away, and lots of prizes, lots and lots of prizes.
So can people go observe and watch, or is it open to the public?
Absolutely. Yeah,
so it is open to the public.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, actually, individual bowlers tickets are $75. Which admission is for one and they get all the pizza they can eat, shoe rental, and bowling, and then the individual spectator is $50 a person, and they get pizza as well.
And I assume this is happening in LA.
Yes, it's happening in LA, but the good news is we're just talking right now with Ronnie's cousin, David Rock Feinstein, who lives upstate New York, to open a New York committee where they will have the events at the same time of the year that we have them in LA.
Oh, are you serious?
So we'll have a ride for Ronnie and a bowl for Ronnie.
That is so exciting.
Yes, it is. It's very, very exciting. They did a on Ronnie's birthday, actually, they did a ride for Ronnie, and they gave us $2,000 that they raised.
Wow. And so will that start in 2018, or does it take longer to get everything in place for that?
No, we're hoping it will start with the ride in May next year.
Fantastic. Well, I will be there for sure if you do one of the East Coast. That's a definite for me. So, speaking of Tom Morello, I'm curious. What did Ronnie think of '90s era alternative metal bands like Rage Against the Machine? I've always wondered that.
Oh, he loved music of every kind, and there were a lot of bands that he really, really liked, and that was Tom Morello. He was a great fan of, and Hailstorm, all these, a lot of different bands he was very, very into, and he was always very knowledgeable on watching new bands, and he had really choices that he really liked, lots of different bands. He said, it's always good to see young new bands coming up and doing something good and, and carrying on the legacy.
Absolutely. And so Tom Morello and all these other celebrities, John Five, that are going to take part, they're not the only people who are actively raising money for this cancer fund, for Ronnie's Cancer Fund. I saw recently Rob Halford on his Facebook, in celebration of his birthday last month, was raising money.
Absolutely, he's and he also auctioned off a jackets, and half of the proceeds went to Stand Up and Shout. And actually, he was in town for Fantasy Camp last week, and I had the pleasure of having dinner with him and his wonderful manager Jane Andrews, and it was a really lovely evening.
That is really cool. So they were close, like all the way back. I mean, they worked on Hearing Aid together back in what, 85 or, you know.
Yeah, they did a lot of touring together too. Judas Priest and Dio and also Motorhead. They were all, Lemmy and Ronnie and Rob were really, really, really close friends.
They were buddies. Do you remember anything about that recording session, about the Hearing Aid session? You were there. So
oh, of course. I remember lots of things. It was a lot of fun. And everyone left their egos at the door. It was just a fun time to raise money for. And in fact, we raised quite a bit of money because when it was We Are the World did it was before us, and we actually wanted to join that, but we were dirty, nasty, heavy metal people, so we had our own one that we did. But what we learned from them was a lot of their money was misused by the government. And so what we did is we joined together with people and sent them machinery and things like that. And I think we raised about $3 million, and we bought machinery with it so they could work.
Amazing. And you took what you learned then, and you're using it now with Ronnie's, because we talked about this, the fact that you work really hard to get as much money going to, you know, these research facilities and whomever you're giving the money to. And that there's
right.
You have to be knowledgeable and do that. So you've known all about it for a long time now. How to get the money going to the right people. Yeah.
Yeah, we research very well to make sure that it doesn't go into administration costs. We want it to go right to, you know, a kid gives us $1. We want that dollar to be working for them into research and education, which is what we want it for, and not to go into some fat cat's pocket and pay for their house or pay for something else. I mean, I have 14 fantastic board members and 3 committee members, and we work very, very hard. All of us work very, very hard, and we have no administration costs whatsoever. We use my house or my office or to have the meetings. We don't pay for anything out, even, stamps and stuff. We take care of that, and there's no costs at all. And when we do a concert, I have people on my board that own lighting companies, staging companies, trucking companies, other managers. I have 2 lawyers on my board that do everything gratis. I have an accountant that does it gratis. So we are very, very self-made people with this charity, and every penny goes to try to beat this horrible disease that's taken so many lives.
Well, smart woman and smart manager and good people involved, and that's really the recipe for a successful, you know, charity.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So last time we talked, we spoke about plans for Dio Disciples along with the Dio hologram, and I've seen some mention of some dates overseas late this year. But I'm wondering, can we expect a U.S. tour maybe next year?
We hope so. I mean, we want to see how this goes and how people accept it and how they like it. We are doing a few shows in Europe, and then we are looking to do some shows in South America and Mexico and South America. And if it goes well and everyone likes it, then we'll continue and do America. Right now, the hologram company is talking to a lot of bands. I can't say, I can say one band, because I think they already did press, and that's the Frank Zappa.
Wow.
They're going to do hologram with that, which will be amazing because he was so avant-garde. And I've been talking to Amit, and there's so many amazing things that they've come up with. I don't want to spoil anyone's surprises, but they've come up with some great ideas.
So cool.
And they've been talking to all kinds, and I can't say who, but they've been talking to at least another 7 bands.
Oh, that's amazing. Well, I'm glad they're seeing some success there. And obviously they wouldn't be putting all this time and money into it if they weren't getting at least some positive feedback, which I think,
Right. Well, you know what? We're doing it from love and to keep Ronnie's music and his legend alive. And I just think that the fans that would love to see Ronnie again up on stage with his band that he played with for 17 years, which has never been done before. Has never had a hologram with a live band. And And then the people that never got a chance to see Ronnie and would love to see him. So as I said, we're the testing ones because we're the first ones to go out to do this. Apart from I think Tupac did it, and I think they did one with somebody else. But I don't think they ever did it with a band. And
right.
This is something new. It's new technology, and we hope it will be successful.
I'm excited about it. There have been a lot of mentions recently on the internet. I'm always looking for little bits of Dio news, and we've heard about mentions of unreleased Dio music kind of popping up on the internet recently. How much unreleased Dio material are you aware of?
I think there's at least 3, maybe 5 songs. Not completed, but as long as I have the lyrics and Ronnie singing them, we have the band, of course. So some are half done, some are just ideas and things. I have to really look. I haven't really had the time or wanted to go into that part of his life again, but I do have all the computers, and it's time. It's been 7.5 years now, so I can actually go in there and look without being breaking down.
Emotional,
yeah. And I am going to finish the book. We've got the book, which hopefully can come out next year. I keep saying that, but I haven't had the time to sit down and go over it. He'd written his book up to the middle of Rainbow, and so which is good because I know the rest of it because I was there.
You were there.
That's some things we're doing. We want to also do a documentary, which we've talked about, and I'm in the process of talking to a lot of different companies about that.
Oh, that would be fantastic. All of that. I know I was going to ask you about the book, but I'm a huge fan of documentaries. And, especially if you're involved, one of my pet peeves is when I watch a documentary and they can't use any of the original music or they don't have the rights to it. And that would be a beautiful thing.
Right.
If you did a documentary, it would be done the right way. And
I want it done the way Ronnie would want it done, and not the way that some people I've talked to want to do, like a sex, drugs, and rock and roll. Well, that wasn't Ronnie, So I am very careful and very protective of his legacy.
As you should be. So maybe I know I'm getting way ahead of myself now, but let's say the Dio hologram takes off. Do you ever envision a time in the future, maybe that they would perform one of the new unreleased Dio songs? Do you think we'll ever see that happen?
It's a possibility.
That would be
everything's insane. A possibility. Especially if you think out the box like I do.
You are. We just appreciate you carrying on his legacy so much because we miss him very much, and it's just a delight to see everything you're doing, not only with his charity, but with his music and the hologram and the book, and talking about a documentary now. So we're thrilled. Thank you so much for everything you do, and we're wishing.
Thank you for your continued support, because without you, we couldn't do anything.
Well,
that's what Ronnie loved. His fans. He loved his people, and that's what I want to carry on for him, for his legacy, because he did love his fans so much, and he cared about them so much.
He did.
As Rob Halford does, and as Lemmy did, and that's the thing that is very, very important. I think that people not forget where they came from and why they were successful.
Exactly.
Not only their talent and everything, but they have to have the fans there that love it. And Ronnie's fans are so supportive. I mean, he's been gone 7.5 years. We still have 2.5 million people on our Facebook.
Oh, I know. And yesterday, I actually reposted. You guys posted some concert footage from the Beacon in New York City from 2004. I was at that show. And I reposted it and said, I was there. Who else was there? And of course, it gets everyone talking and everyone reminiscing.
Yeah, of course.
It's just,
and it's lovely to have things and reminders of things, that were such happy times. And he always enjoyed his shows no matter what. And it was always a pleasure for him to be on stage and to meet people and talk to people. And he was just a very, very special person.
Shaking every hand. I hope you had hand sanitizer backstage for him. shaking every hand in the house and not thinking anything of it. But anyway, I wish you the best of luck for a very successful Bowl for Ronnie event. What is the best place for people to donate who can't be there?
It's the diocancerfund.org. If they go on the site, they will see where they can donate.
Wonderful. Well, it's been a pleasure speaking with you again, Wendy. Please keep us updated on this, New York, Ride for Ronnie. I'm all about it. If you need any help, I will help you.
Yeah,
I'm volunteering
absolutely.
now.
Don't say that to me because I will use you.
I'm there. I'm absolutely.
Perfect.
I'll do whatever you need because I'm a fan.
Ronnie's cousin's coming. He was in the Rods and he was in Elf. I don't know if you know that.
Yes.
But, he was a guitar player in Elf. And he was in a band called the Rods, and he'll be coming out for the bowling. He came out for the ride, and now he's coming out for bowling, and he's a very, very good bowler. I think he came in second last year.
Are you going to bowl? That's my final question. Will Wendy Dio bowl?
Oh, he'll be bowling for sure. Yeah, absolutely.
No, will you bowl? I want to know if you're going to bowl.
Oh, no. I ride on the back of the motorcycle. That's about as much as I can do. I can't bowl. I would win the horse's ass.
Whose bike did you ride on? Who was lucky enough to get you?
Big Scott, who is about 6'5", and he was Ronnie's very, very close friend and our production manager.
Oh, that's so fun. That's awesome.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, Wendy, good luck, and I hope we get to speak with you soon. Thanks for coming on Talking Metal.
And thank you so much again. Lovely to talk to you.
Lovely.
Okay, take care.
You too.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Bye.
I think it was great. What do you want to say? What do you want to play? Yeah, from Wendy Dio coming out of that. Is there any songs she mentions? Did you talk to her about Stars or Halford?
Oh, yeah, we did. We talked about Stars.
I don't know if you can buy that on iTunes. A little Dio with Sacred Heart here on Talking Metal. Nice work, Emily. Thanks for connecting with Wendy Dio once again on Talking Metal.
Yeah, I hope she comes back, like we'll get a little debrief on how the event went maybe.
Yeah, that would be great. And definitely support what Wendy is doing with her fundraising for is it the Stand Up and Shout Cancer? What's the...
Yeah, it's the Ronnie James Dio Stand Up and Shout
Cancer Fund. Right.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely support that. We'll have links up in today's show notes. I'm very excited. A great drummer who I've liked for so many years. He's done so much great stuff with Warrant, Kingdom Come, Scorpions, Montrose, the Kottak band. I mean, this guy's he's played on like 180 some records or something. It's just insane. I'm not even joking. We had him on once before, and on that previous episode, we really got into his past and all the great stuff he's done. So if you're looking to learn more about James's history, go back. I think it's like maybe 2 years ago. I want to say episode 550 of Talking Metal. So check out the 2015 interview with James Kottak on Talking Metal. If you Google it, it'll come right up. But right now we want to find out what he's been up to since leaving the Scorpions and hear how he's doing. And also another thing I used to enjoy with James, Emily used to watch this show with me. He was on a show called Ex-Wives of Rock.
Oh, right. Bobby Brown, my favorite from Star Search from when I was little.
Right.
I wanted to be her so bad.
And, of course, Tommy Lee's sister and James Kottak's, I guess, ex-wife, although they were, trying to work things out on the show. I didn't really get into his personal life in this interview.
And Athena plays drums. Does she play
yeah,
drums?
She played drums in the band Kottak with him.
Oh, she did?
Yeah, I mean, she did a lot of other stuff, too, as a drummer. But James, I won't spoil it, but James is going to tell us what's up with Kottak, what's up with Kingdom Come. He's going to kind of tell us about the real story behind his exit from Scorpions. And this is a great little chat. It's always great to talk with James. I'm glad he chose to come back here on Talking Metal for one of his first interviews, I think possibly his second interview, I don't know, maybe third, since leaving the Scorpions. So on that note, let's first hit some music by James. This is classic Kingdom Come. I mean, you can't go wrong with Kingdom Come. Such a great, great band. This is Do You Like It by Kingdom Come, featuring James Kottak. James Kottak on the drums right there. Do You Like It? First time I saw Kingdom Come was on the Monsters of Rock tour. It was Kingdom Come, Metallica. I'm trying to think. Kingdom Come, Metallica, Dokken, Scorpions, coincidentally. Before James was with them. I believe Herman was still playing with them at that point. And Van Halen closed that tour. That was great, great set. And I remember I was coming in and Kingdom Come had already gone on before I was in my seats, and I was literally running through the stadium there to get into the main bowl of the stadium so I could check Kingdom Come out, and they were great. And that was James, and wow, what a great drummer, and also a great guitar player and singer. The band Kottak. I tell you what, we'll get into a little music by Kottak, followed by my brand new interview with James Kottak. Here is, by Kottak, Rock and Roll Forever. Hey, it's Mark Strigl of the Talking Metal podcast, and calling back to check in with us once again, James Kottak, the amazing drummer, known for Scorpions, of course, Warrant, Kingdom Come, Montrose, Kottak, the band that you had for a while. How are you, James?
Dude, I'm doing great, and it's a pleasure to be back with you on your podcast and talk to you. It's been a while, Mark. Where you been, man?
Well, it's been about 2 years, and at that point, you were still with the Scorpions. You played on a great record with them, Return to Forever, and then the tide kind of changed, and at least for the Scorpions and you, you were out of the band, and I kind of just wanted to talk to you about what went down with that and hear what you've been up to for the last 2 years. So at first it sounded like you were temporarily taking a leave of absence, and then later it came out that you wouldn't be returning. Is there anything you want to comment about your break from the Scorpions?
Yeah, well, I mean, to be perfectly honest, I've been pretty burnt out for the last 4 or 5 years, and but I'm still grateful and so thankful to be in the Scorpions for 21 years. It's so wonderful, and I love the guys so much. We're still really good friends, and I'll be seeing them here early next month here in LA, and
cool.
We're having dinner and, the usual stuff. And no regrets, no anything. It's probably well known. I've had some problems with some personal problems here and there, but the April of 2016, we were in Germany, and unfortunately, Klaus had some problems with his voice, and we had to cancel the last 8 shows in Europe. And that left a gap of about 2.5 months. At that point, I was kind of struggling a little bit, so I decided to go down to Antigua to Eric Clapton's Crossroads. And I was going to go down there just for a month and kind of check, check myself and get a tune-up. And it's so a wonderful, wonderful place. So I went down there, and we still had some time. And then I go, I'm going to stay an extra 2 weeks. And then I was going to go back. And the guys were going, man, take advantage of this, And so I decided to stay. I ended up staying 92 days. In the meantime, There were a few gigs. And of course, they had to move on, and I gave them my blessing. They go, we're going to get Mickey to fill in for you. I'm like, oh, cool, man, And so I came back, and then there was some time off, and then I came home about the end of July, and the next batch of gigs were going to be in South America in September. And at that point, all the gears getting shipped and all that stuff. And I was like, and it was only like about a handful of dates, 7 dates. And to swap the gear out is like really expensive. Like to send Mickey stuff home, get that stuff out there was like, $25,000, $30,000. So I go, you know what? I don't want to be down there anyway. And then after that, there was just another 6 or 8 gigs left for the year. So it's kind of like, we were like, well, let Mickey finish it out, and I could use the time home, and and I got a tune-up, and everything was cool. But then we talked, I think it was the end of October, something like that. We were kind of talking, and we kind of mutually agreed that it just didn't make sense, and it was actually a relief, to tell you the truth.
Really? Okay.
It came to that. Yeah, they called, and I thought everything was going to kind of cruise on, but it just worked out that way, and things happen, and God, like I said, 21 years with one band is incredible. And the guys are just so wonderful. I love them to death. And but it is what it is. Life has its twists and turns, and this is one of them. And so I devoted the last year to kind of like focusing on James and just like really getting healthy, living smart, just being else. I was home with my 2 sons, 24 and 20. And this is like the first time in over 30 years that I've been home for a solid year. I've missed so many anniversaries and birthdays, and missed my son's graduation, and you name it. It's so. But anyway, I'm in a great place now, and I'm thrilled to death. And that's about that.
Well, that's awesome to hear. And so, since you've been down to Eric Clapton's rehab facility, I guess I'd call it.
The Crossroads.
The Crossroads.
Yeah,
things
wonderful.
have just been going well with that, and you've been able to lead a more healthy lifestyle.
Yeah, but, like any human, I've had my ups and downs, and I've had my ins and outs and troubles over the last year as well, because it's a nonstop maintenance thing, and again, I'm not perfect. I've had some tough times over the last year, but for the most part, it's been super mega positive.
That's
I have
awesome.
a great support team and a lot of the alumni from Antigua, and, I have my select musician friends who will remain nameless, who have been through a lot of the same stuff that I have.
Sure.
And, we talk pretty regularly, and that's always good.
And when you say we talk, is that like a sponsorship type of thing, like where you have people?
I have a sponsor, like an AA sponsor guy, but it's kind of like you just call and say, "Hey, man, how you doing?" Blah 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 blah. It's not like official, like it's not all heavy. It's just like you just kind of like call and say, "Hey," for 5 minutes, and it's just like It's a support. I have about a list of people I call like every Saturday or whatever, just to check in, man.
Yeah, totally. Well, it's great to hear, and I hope you can continue down the path of a healthy lifestyle. And I wanted to share a story with you, and I swear to you, this is absolutely true. 1 week ago, actually 8 days ago, I went to see the Scorpions in New York City at Madison Square Garden. I live in New Jersey, and my wife and I took the train in, and I had a shirt on, a Scorpions T-shirt on, and a guy came up to me on the train and he said, "Are you going to the show?" And I said, "Yeah." And we started talking about the band, and he brought up your name, and he said, "Well, I'm interested to see Mickey and how he does, but I'm really saddened that James isn't in the band. He was such a big part of the band for a long period of time." And he mentioned your backing vocals and how important that was in the live setting. And it really was a guy who was bummed that you weren't going to be there, and it was completely unprompted. And again, I don't know the guy. He apparently lives in my town, and but he he actually brought up your name and was disappointed you weren't going to be a part of the performance. So I just want you to know you do have fans out there. That's an absolute 100% true story.
Well, Mark, I'm flattered. I'm happy to hear the story. And I'll tell you honestly, thank God for social media, because between Facebook and Twitter, I've got so much excellent support of people sending me messages just like that. And I'm like going, wow, man. And it is really kind of eased the thing over, because, when you're with a band that long, it is really kind of like a divorce.
Right.
But ours was an amicable divorce. We didn't have lawyers or anything like that. We just kind of worked it out amongst ourselves, And but it is really, really flattering, and I get messages honestly every day, lots of them, cool. and it's really, makes me feel good. And again, over the last year, I'm like going, what do I want to do? And I've had some offers to go play with a few bands here and there, some, pretty good names and stuff, but I just didn't have the motivation to go out and do it, to tell you the truth. And so I'm talking to a few people, and I got a little bit of this and that going on, and I've decided to go make another Kottak album.
Oh, very cool. Very cool. And that's...
Yeah.
Let's remind the listeners about Kottak. I mean, that was a band that I think you originally started, you were inspired by Green Day. Is that correct?
Yeah, Cheap Trick and Green Day. Cheap Trick beats Green Day on a bad day. And right. It started, I got really, I don't know, one day I just said, I'm going to play guitar. Good. I never got good, but I wrote a ton of songs. And at the time, Athena was like going, man, I go, I got to get somebody to sing. And so she goes, why don't you just sing? I go, yeah, then I need a drummer. I go, well, then why don't you play drums? So she played drums, and we started playing around LA. And then we put out we ended up put out 4 albums. And we went to Japan a few times. We went to Europe a few times, played all over the West Coast, and we had a blast with it. All 4 albums went nickel or tin. And but I had a blast, and it's a great outlet for my songwriting. And but now I'm kind of more into I'm not so much the punky pop guy, and this batch of songs for the new album is more like I wanted to call it maybe Foo Fighters meets Nickelback.
Right.
I guess that's
cool. Well, that sounds.
It's a little more straight ahead hard rock.
Very cool. And would Athena? I mean, obviously your relationship with her has been documented in of course the Ex-Wives of Rock show that we saw on TV. But is she going to be a part of this record with you?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
I have quite a few people. What's so great with the technology? I'm here in LA, and I'm partners with a friend of mine at a studio, and I'll have a friend of mine play guitar. We'll put down the bedrock, which I've picked out. I got like 15 songs. And, since I mentioned it on social media, that, hey, man, what do you think? Should I do a new Kottak album? I've had so many musicians from around the world said, yeah, man, it's possible. Could I play on it? I'm like going, wow. So it could possibly be, I'll have the bedrock, the basic tracks laid, and then add I would love to Doug Aldrich, for example. Right, sure. And Gus G from, Play with Ozzy. He's one of my favorites. Wow. And he's always said, hey, man, we could ever play together. And a friend of mine in Germany. And so it could be a collaboration of all that. And then I'll put a real band together, and because I want to tour. But also, I sing and play guitar in this band, but I'm going to play much more drums. Okay. When I do tour. So, because I've had that complaint, like, yeah, but we want to see you play drums. So this time around, I'll do 50-50. Kind of David Grohl did that a lot. Right, sure. So
you'd obviously have somebody else in the band or touring with you that could also double on drums and guitar.
Yeah, exactly. Right. And that's the thing. I'll have a drummer who can play guitar. Okay. And that's kind of a tough order. But I've spent my entire life singing and playing drums, and I can do it very well. And also, I think the drummer from Anthrax has a band on the side. He sings from back there, and I saw some clips from that. I'm like, well, God, I should do that. And because I write the songs, I play rhythm, and I actually really suck on guitar, but I look really, really cool.
which is a big part of it, definitely.
It is, man. If you don't look cool, and I love singing, man. I love being up front, interacting, and I've got, the 4 albums of material to draw on, and this new stuff it's just fun, man.
Cool. That's great to hear. I'm excited to hear this new material. When do you think the listeners be getting a taste of this stuff?
I hope to have it wrapped up and done, say, mid-January. Because, there's not a whole lot going on in November, December. But, I've already started with my producer friend who I'm partners with at the studio, and we have an engineer guy, and we have a guy who's going to put down the guitar, and who I've been writing with off and on for years. And so we'll see. You know, I'm not rushing. I'm just going to see how it develops here. And, you know, but I definitely want to have something out, definitely something digital out by, you know, let's say end of February, March, because I want to go play some shows, man.
Right.
I'm really now starting to get antsy. You know, I haven't been off this long, but it took me, I got home last July of 2016. I got home end of July, and it took me up until like 2 months ago to really get the fire and really want to do something. And that happens. Sometimes you got to back away, get away from it completely, to really feel what you want to do.
Right.
You know, and I've heard other people say that, and bands go, "Yeah, man, we had to go on hiatus. We were just burnt out." And I was like, "Oh, well, that's not the way we do it in Scorpions, because Scorpions is endless." And those guys, their work ethic is excellent. And, you know, so, but I kind of hit that wall that I've always heard these guys talking about. And, but I just started really getting fired up here in the last few months, and I got my guitar, and I'm figuring out my songs that I wrote, and, you know.
Awesome. Well, we can't wait to hear this stuff. Yeah, that sounds great, and it would be a lot of fun to see Kottak in concert. Let me ask you, would you consider doing songs from your catalog that may not actually be official Kottak songs? Like, would you play a Kingdom Come song? Would you play a song by Scorpions when you're doing the live show?
Dude, absolutely. And we're going to do one of those things like with Scorpions. Before we go do a leg, we'd put a thing up, say, hey, you know, send in your top 20 favorite Scorpions songs. And from those top 20, we would kind of create the set list.
Right.
And, you know, you got a lot of people wanting the stuff from the 70s, and that's how the set list comes about these days. And a lot of bands do that. So I would do that as well. But also, of course, man, there's so many great songs over the years. You know, there's a way to incorporate it all. But, you know, if you're opening, which on a festival or any kind of tour, you know, you only have so much time. And, but I'm a big believer in making shortened versions of songs so you can, I'd rather have 15 songs in a 45-minute set than 10 songs, you know. I'd just cram them in there, man, and get as much, you know. And we'll see. And also, I just wanted to mention this. There still is, next year is the 30th anniversary of the release of the debut Kingdom Come album.
Oh, I'm love still that record. Love that.
To be a reunion of the original five. We've been talking for years, but my stupid schedule never allowed it. You know, we did our farewell tour. 2012 was it. And the following, we all met together here in LA. We rehearsed, and then Klaus calls, goes, "Hey, James, you know, we decided to continue on." I'm like, going, "What?" I was thrilled. I mean, you know, I got three and a half bonus years, and I love Scorpions.
Sure.
You know, I love the guys, but I'd already had all this stuff set up at Kingdom Come. We were actually booking shows, and such is the music biz.
Yeah. So everyone who was an original member of Kingdom Come seems interested in potentially doing some dates and a reunion?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Lemmy flew over from Germany it was like 3 years ago now. And, you know, we got together and rehearsed, and we had dinner, and we talked, and we planned, and we did this. So, but now it's, you know, time is ticking. And if we're going to do it, I want to do it here next year sometime. And that could just be like, go out and play 20 shows and see how it goes, you know. And because, you know, it's all about touring now, you know. And then after that, maybe if it's a possibility to do an album, yes, maybe. And we'll see.
I could see Kingdom Come being a big draw on like the festival circuit too, just, you know, because there hasn't been any Kingdom Come for a while.
Exactly, because a lot of bands just kept going and kept going and kept going from that time period, and we never have. We've never done anything like that. So it's to be talked about and to be decided. And you know, I guess I'll have to give Lenny another call.
I'd love to see Kingdom Come like on M3 with the classic lineup, and that would be amazing. Yeah, I'd love that.
But it has to be the original classic lineup, like you said, because otherwise I don't want to do it. You know.
Very good, cool. Well, fingers crossed for that. Definitely. Well, James, it's been great catching up with you. I'm so happy to hear that you're doing well and you have a lot of music on deck. Where's the best place that the Talking Metal listeners can get in touch with you online? Is it Facebook?
Of course, Facebook is James Kottak, my personal page, and then James Kottak, the fan page. They're connected. And then on Twitter, I'm at J Kottak. It's Kottak is Twitter. I'm on LinkedIn under James Kottak, I think. And then, of course, my website, which is kind of being revamped right now, but it is up, is, of course, jameskottak.com. And I wanted to say, whoever out there has ever sent me a message, if you're listening, thank you so much for the support. It means so much. And it boosts my confidence because, like I said, going through a breakup with a band is it's heavy, man.
Right.
And
sure.
Even though it was amicable and I left on really good terms and we kind of like shook hands and, conference call, whatever.
Yeah.
But, it's I love those guys and I'm thrilled and thankful to death that I had the opportunity to be the drummer for the Scorpions for 21 years.
Jesus probably
Christ,
longer than any other drummer, really. I mean, I'm trying to think.
Herman was in the band 17 years.
Okay.
So I got him beat by 4.
Yeah.
So, and, it's just wonderful.
Awesome.
So, and Mark, I can't thank you so much for your time, and I look forward to talking to you soon because I might have another announcement within the month about something really cool about my Kottak album and things like that. So I'll have to get back to you.
Yeah, please. Anytime we're here for you, come back in a month or 2 months, whenever you want.
Sure, man.
You have my cell number. I'll make sure you have my cell number. You can text me or drop me an email, and we'll get you back. We'd love an update.
Mark, thank you so much for your time, and have an excellent day.
You just heard Mark's interview with James, and coming out of that, we went right into Scorpions' We Built This House.
Yes, and that's a song that they played when we just saw them, sadly without James, at Madison Square Garden. But
God, that was so fun.
It was a good show.
Seriously? I had so much fun at that show.
Yeah, so Scorpions are still out there rocking. James Kottak is still out there rocking, and it sounds like they, as James explained, are on real good terms. He said he's going to have dinner with them when they come into town in Los Angeles, so I'm glad to hear that because I wasn't sure how they'd left it. And I'm excited to see Kottak because in that interview, I don't know if he's revealed this elsewhere yet, but he's going to get Kottak back out on the road. You're going to get to hear him play songs by Kottak. But then potentially what he's going to do is when he's touring with Kottak, he's going to play songs from all the bands that he's played with. So you'll probably get some Scorpions in there, Kingdom Come, who knows, maybe even a Warrant song. Fun. Yeah, I mean, Montrose. I mean, what an amazing career this guy has had. And it's always great to talk with him. So James, thanks again for checking in with us on Talking Metal. That's going to do it. Guys, remember we have the Patreon account rolling, so please join us there and make a donation and be very helpful for what we do here. And you can also leave us a great review on iTunes. That's also very helpful. And I got to tell you, I'm so glad the Rockin' Pod coverage is over. Thanks for bearing with me through all that. I definitely went a little overboard, having recorded probably, I was saying 12 episodes. It was actually 13 when you add in the Rock and Roll Geek Show, and I was on Joey Haney's podcast, which apparently didn't tape. So,
oh no!
Yeah, but I'm still.
They had technical difficulties with me too.
Oh, did they?
Yes.
I can't remember. Maybe he said some of it taped, but not all of it.
But man, how fun was that? That was a blast.
That was a lot.
I can't wait.
I just
next
recorded
year.
way too many episodes because it took me like a month to get through them. And again, thanks to you guys, the listeners, for your patience. I hope you enjoyed them. And we are now back into regular Talking Metal programming We're going to hit you up with some bonus episodes, some extra episodes coming up real soon. Big thanks to James Kottak. Big thanks to Wendy Dio. Thanks to Adrenaline PR for hooking up the Wendy Dio interview.
Yes.
Thanks to Mitch LaFawn for hooking up the James Kottak interview. And that's going to do it. We'll talk to you next time. Thanks, guys.